Hey guys, I'm joined here with Brent Erickson, and today we're going to be going over the most common real estate objections whenever you're wholesaling real estate. We're going to be going over exactly what the objection is, his exact word track and logic behind overcoming these objections, more importantly, how we can prevent them from happening in the first place. Brett, ready to get to it?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ben. So super important, like he said, if we can pre-eliminate them, we will. But in the beginning, you are going to be struggling on the calls a little bit. You know, obviously everybody has to start somewhere. And so when you do run into these objections, I want to make sure you can handle them.
Most common one is it's been appraised for X. My property has been appraised for $200,000.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing with any objection that's going to come up on this is a lot of this we have to agree with it, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe ask a question or agree. So, Ben, I completely agree with you. I think your house is definitely worth $500,000. However, right now, what things are appraised for and what they're selling for are just very different. So if you don't mind, could I go over a couple that have sold in the area?
Sure.
And so from there, what we're going to do, that's going to be the starting point, right? We're going to go ahead, agree, and then show them a few that have sold in the area. I might send them like pictures. Hey, does this look similar to yours? Is yours better shape or worse shape? And then what we're going to do from there is we're going to break down, like let's say he thought it was 500, but the houses are only selling at let's say 450 or 425. So we have to have proof, right? So be on prop stream, sending everything over. So 450, say, hey, Mr. Seller, like clockwork, there's property selling at 450,000. So when you say you need, or it's appraised at 500, what do you need to walk away with? He's like, well, if they're selling at 450, I need 450. Mm-hmm. Okay, would you list that at 450 or do you want to walk away with 450? He says, well, probably list it because that's what they're whatever.
Yeah.
So then from there, I'm going to do an analytical breakdown and do, hey, properties are selling at 95% in your area. We'll do math here, whatever that comes out to be. Let's just say it's 400. And then from there, we're going to pay 8% in realtor fees. And they're going to say, well, they just passed a law that you don't have to pay whatever. And from there, you're going to say, hey, I completely understand they did pass that law. It's always been negotiable. What we found at Amplified Closing from doing a ton of deals every month is that when we go to list the property on the back end, that if we do 3% buyer, 3% seller, 2% closing costs, we cover all that, they sell much quicker. So we're going to factor that 8% in. So now let's say we're at 375, and then I say, hey, right now the market's pretty soft. They are asking $5,000 in seller concessions by the interest rate down. Now we're at 370. So Mr. Seller, when you tell me, you know, you're looking to get 450 for the property, but what I'm hearing is that you're actually willing to take 370. Is that a number you can wrap your head around? Yes, no, whatever. If he says yes, then we're going to maybe get back into the script like, hey, just give me 5 to 10 minutes so I can ask you a few questions about the property, and then we're back in the script.
Gotcha. Next one, another very common one, I need to think about it.
So think about it. Again, always agree, right? Ben, of course you need to think about this. Like, you're selling your house, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't expect you to make a decision right now.
Yeah.
How much time do you need? Do I need to give you like 3 months so you can think this all over?
No, I just need 24 hours.
Perfect. So what I did there is I way drew out the timeline, right?
Yep.
So if I would have said, hey man, what do you need, a couple hours? You'd be like, well, I need 2 weeks because, you know, that's the friction you build.
Yep.
Draw it way out. And then, you know, just like Ben just said, you know, hopefully it works out like that on the phone call, you know, where they say 24 hours or whatever. Maybe they say 48, 2 weeks, whatever they say. Then you're going to say, get their guard down by saying, perfect, Ben, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to get you down on the schedule. The mornings or evenings work better, 5 or 7, 7 o'clock, perfect. In 2 weeks on Thursday at 7 o'clock, Ben, what were you going to go over in your head till then, just so I can be better prepared for our next meeting?
Why do you ask it like that?
As in, like, say that again. Like,
so the part where you said, what do you need to think about just so I'd be prepared for my next?
Gotcha. What we're doing there is we're going to isolate. So what they need to think about, nobody's going to actually go home and shut their eyes and like wait till their brain explodes because they're thinking so hard, right? So they're saying that because they want to delay it. They're like, man, this guy's about to close me. I do need to sell, but I'm a little nervous right now.
Yeah.
And so he just didn't say what he's just trying to get off the hook. So we're going to think that we're letting him, right?
Yeah.
And so we dropped his guard and we said that we drew it out. He thinks he's about to get off the phone. And we say, hey, what did you need to go over in your mind just so I'm better prepared for our next meeting? And now he's going to say, well, the price is just a little bit too low. Or you say, well, I have 2 heirs on the property. And now we're going to find the real objection. Yeah. We're going to figure out like if we can come to terms on price, if we can get the heirs on the phone, and then we're going to go back for the close again.
Okay, so you basically loop it all around. So you isolate you agree with them, you isolate the objection, you ask your reframe, what do you need to think about, basically, and then you loop it around.
Correct. Yep.
Awesome. Next one is, can you guarantee this?
So with this one, I guess I'm not going to say like absolutely I can, right? So this one's going to be a little bit different. So you can either ask a question, which it's kind of like I've done it before, where I'm just to say like, I mean, what would happen if we could or couldn't, right? Yeah. And they say, well, if you could, that'd be great. If not, like, I might need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say, look, if anybody, the way that I normally handle this one is, hey, look, if anybody's guaranteeing you a sale, they're aligned. If it's cash, if it's novation, whatever it is, nobody can technically guarantee. I can't promise you I wake up tomorrow. So if I say 300,000, I guarantee I don't wake up tomorrow. You don't get your 300,000.
Yeah.
Or we do the inspection period. There's mold. So I go, well, I can't guarantee that the sale is going to go through, or we can get you 300,000 or the price or whatever. But what I can guarantee is that we're going to have all the information you need in 2 weeks. And what I mean by that is when we go through our inspection period, if the property is good, you're going to know, and we're going to move forward. And from there, the sale should be done, right?
Yep.
Or we're going to come back to you and say, hey, the repairs are a little bit more than we anticipated, and we need to be a little bit lower on price. And from there, you can tell me to kick rocks, or you can say, hey, you caught me. There's a hole in the roof. We didn't think you were going to catch that. Yeah. We'll take a little bit lower. So can't guarantee the sale, but what I can guarantee is you'll have all the information you need here in the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Awesome. Next one is, are you a wholesaler?
Yeah, so with that one, we don't want to backpedal, because what's going to happen when you hear this, you're like, oh shit, they're on to me.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to be, and then you're going to panic and not know what to say, and then you're probably maybe you hang up the phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I like to do is ask them a question back. So I'm going to say, hey, I've been calling all day today, and I talk to sellers all day. This is the first time somebody's asked me this. Just curious, why do you bring that up? And then from there, they're going to say, well, I just talked to somebody and we found out that they were marketing the property and this, that, the other thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, they didn't tell you that they were doing that or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're going to say whatever their concern is with that, right? And that's what we want. We're going to isolate, like, their concern is not that you're a wholesaler. Their concern is can they get paid, right? And so when we figure that out, like, well, they put me under contract for 45 days and then they couldn't close. And so then we need to figure out, like, if that was their concern, same thing. Hey, that is one of our strategies. And it's not a bad strategy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wholesalers that don't know what they're doing. They're inexperienced. Sometimes it might not even be out of them being malicious. It's just that they ran their numbers wrong.
Yep.
And so I understand that you're a little bit concerned about wholesaling. I go, I'm not sure what the strategy is going to be yet. We might buy this. We might flip it. We might hold it as a rental. But I'll say, hey, Mr. Seller, what I found in the past with all my homeowners is as long as the bank account, or as long as the money hits your bank account, typically we don't really care where it comes from. Does that sound fair?
Yep, sounds fair. So you go about instilling that certainty because they may have been burnt by a wholesaler in the past. So you go about instilling urgency, setting proper expectations to make sure they can trust you and actually fulfill on their end of the promise and you fulfill on yours.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Common one, you send the contract, seller says, hey, I don't sign on the first phone call.
Sure. And so this one's going to be a tough one because I like to put my position like from their view, right?
Yeah.
And so if somebody sold me or somebody sent me a contract, I never met them before, like, yeah, that's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
And so if we push too hard on this one and we do get them to close on that first call, then they might have seller's remorse and then they back out.
Yep.
So this one's a delicate one. I think it's pretty similar to maybe like a think about it.
Yeah.
They're just not sure yet.
Yeah.
And so, hey, I completely understand you don't want to sign on the first call.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big deal. You need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row, everything like that. I go, how much time would you need? Or when was the last time you bought something on the first call?
Yeah.
What was your research that you did?
Yeah.
So anything to get them to be familiar with the last time they made a call or didn't make, how much time did they need? And then same thing, set the appointment. So you need 24 hours. Perfect. 24 hours. I go, what exactly do you need to go over on the agreement, or what are you unsure about, just so I can be better prepared for the next call? So some of these can kind of go hand in hand. They might ask it a little bit different way, but we stay the same, right? Agree, ask them their concerns, how much time they need, and then go back in for the close if we can eliminate their concerns.
Do you ever, let's say they tell you, I just want to make sure I'm not getting screwed over on the agreement. Do you ever just like, okay, cool. If you have it pulled up in front of you, we can walk through it together and I want to read it to you line by line. Do you ever do anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially when they word it like that. So it depends on where I don't sign on the first day it comes in. So like if they would have said that at the end and they're like, okay, cool, I don't sign on the first day, then that's probably gonna be like, how much time do you need to review this? Mm-hmm. If they say it at the beginning, right before, like, hey, just send it to me, I'll look it over, give me a couple days.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Mr. Seller, I completely understand. You probably need some time to look over this. However, what I've found in the past is more than likely you're gonna have questions about the agreement. And since I'm the one here right now, you're probably gonna call back to answer. I go, I'm more than happy to just go over it right now. I'm like, did that come in? And they say, oh yeah, I do. Say, go ahead and open that up for me.
Okay.
And then from there, we're in the script, or we're in the contract, going over it, making them feel comfortable about it.
Awesome. This is a pretty common one because it comes from a lot of outbound sellers where they will you call up a seller from cold calling and they're like, hey, I'm interested in selling my property. Just give me a price. Mm-hmm. How would you handle that?
Yep. And these ones is actually kind of like one of the most fun ones because you kind of get to be a smart ass back to them without them knowing really, I guess, or maybe they feel it. I don't know. But so when somebody comes out to me like, hey man, don't waste my time. I've been on all these phone calls. I got to be like, finally, like just have the biggest relief. You're like, finally, I've been calling all day, hour phone calls. You're the first person that knows what he wants for his property. I'm like, I'm so happy I don't have to have an hour-long phone call. Typically, price is the biggest concern of all my homeowners. I go, do you have 5 to 10 minutes just so I can ask you a few questions about it? And once you've kind of overpowered them, you get a little bit loud back at them. Mm-hmm. And that's where your energy has to really come back on this one in specific because they're so like aggressive. So be happy, energetic back to them. And then just be like, look, man, just give me 5 to 10 minutes just so I know a little bit more about the property.
Yeah.
And we'll get you that offer.
Awesome. How much are you going to make on this?
So this one, I'm going to go back to an analytical approach too. And so this is also going to depend on where we are in the script, right?
Yeah.
And this is where it's key to have the underwriter for this. Because if it's you are making the decision, then you should know how much you're making. But if it's the underwriter, I go, look, we don't have the final numbers yet, right? Yeah. Like, I still have to send this to my underwriter. She's going to underwrite the deal. But however, I can kind of break down to you how it might look. Yeah. And so we've probably at this point already talked about like what their home is worth, if we're getting that. And so like, hey, we agree that your house is going to sell, or we're going to resell this property at $200,000, and we got to be at 70% of this list price. And I'm also going to have them pull up their phone too. So like, hey, go ahead and pull out your phone for this, pull up your calculator so they can see it. It's more real if they can get a visual on it. And so, hey, put 200,000 into your phone, multiply that by 70%. Let me know what you get.
It's like 140.
Right. And so from there, they're going to be like, okay, well, why do you need 30% off?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you asked that because at first glance, it looks like we're making 60 grand on this.
Yeah.
I go, the first 10% we need off on this is going to be for our closing costs.
Yep.
So when we buy the property from you, Ben, we're going to pay 2% towards closing costs because we're not going to expect you to pay any of that. Yep. And on the back end, when we go to sell this, we do such a high volume, we have to outsource all of our properties that we sell. So we're going to pay 3% to the selling agent. We're going to pay 3% buyer. And I know what you're thinking. They just passed a law. What we're doing here, we're going to pre-eliminate that because otherwise they're going to say it. So I'm already going to put it out there first so they can't say nothing. But I go, we've just found in the market we're in right now, they sell much quicker and we have a lot of hard money costs. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and make this as appealing as possible to agents and homeowners. And then we're going to pay 2% again for closing. That's the first 10% I need off, Ben. The next 10% I need off is for holding costs. So all these forms you fill out, whether you fill out 1 or 1,000 or however many, I know they keep popping up now that you filled it out.
Yeah.
We're going to do either a private money type loan on this or a hard money. This is going to come at a very high interest rate on a shorter term. And so while we're fixing it up and putting it back on the market, we factor about 10% for those costs we're going to hold there.
Yeah.
And then that last 10% is going to be what we want to make on the deal. And so if the house is worth 200,000, we're gonna try and shoot to make about 20 grand on this deal. Is it okay? Or sorry, 20K. is it okay that if we're going to put up 200,000, okay if we make 20 grand on this? And then make it be easy to say yes to, right?
Yeah.
And so once we go through all that, they're like, they'll see that it makes sense. And then that's all I'll cover that. I'll just be transparent with them, show them the numbers and be like, hey, I don't necessarily know what this is, how my underwriter is going to look at it. So typically we shoot to make somewhere around 20K.
Yeah, because I see a lot of wholesalers, they would try and steer away from that. Like they give zero transparency.
Right.
They don't even tell their acquisition managers sometimes how much they make on a deal.
Right.
It's crazy to me, but besides the point. So for you, what have you noticed happen on your conversations when you started being way more transparent and actually walking sellers through these numbers?
So for one, nobody does this, I don't think. Not a lot anyways. I actually got this from Travis. Yeah, and so what I find is I can say, I bet you the last person that gave you an offer, they didn't tell you about this, right? Yeah. Like it's because they were inexperienced, they don't know how to run the numbers, so they're just shooting offers in the dark. But I go, this is where we run our numbers so we can be right around that 20,000. And they're just like, nobody's ever broken it down to me like that before. And it builds trust. And so the more transparent I've been with homeowners, I think they can feel that.
Yeah.
And that's how I think the transparency helps you convert a lot more deals.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Next one, they look at the contract, they scroll down, they see the earnest money deposit, it's only $100, or I mean, I've seen some people put down $10. So they ask, why is EMD so low? How do you reply to that?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so happy you've seen that. And if you're getting that, you're not doing your job on explaining it, because you should tell them that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if they catch it or whatever, that's going to come up at some point.
Yeah.
And so you're just going to say, hey, absolutely. And I go, I know, and they might have a realtor or something. That's probably why they caught it. I go, we got to think about who the avatar is that's buying the house. Yeah. Typically, it's either a normal person who buys, typically the average homeowner buys one house every 7 years, whether they sell it to move or whatever. But it's one house every 7 years. Yeah. So putting down 1%, that's fine to them, right? They can do that. They can handle that for one transaction.
Yeah.
Here at Amplified Closings, we're buying somewhere or sending out at least 20 contracts a month. And so if I had to put 1% down for every contract, I'd probably have to have about 200,000 in EMD down at any given time. Like, that doesn't sound reasonable, does it?
Yeah, I see.
And so from there, it's just so that's why we're at the $100, just because it wouldn't be feasible for us to have 200,000 out in contracts all the time.
Gosh.
And typically they understand that.
Okay, cool. Next one is not exactly a word track, but it's a seller that's approaching you. They're super angry, they're rude, disrespectful, just right off the gate.
Mm-hmm. I kind of associate that too a little bit with the guy that says, just give me an offer. Like it's going to be kind of the same thing there. Yeah. But you just, if you got something that's really just being an asshole, you got to level with them and you got to kind of get back with them, right? Like, look, you filled out my form to reach out to you, and you have to let him know that you asked for my help.
Yep.
You have a house that you need to sell, and you need somebody to buy it from you. Maybe quick, maybe not. I'm not sure yet. But I go, if you want to go ahead and have a conversation about this, I don't know the last time you bought something without looking at it, but I go, I need 5 to 10 minutes to figure out a little bit about the property to make sure I can get you the most amount of money possible for this property. Is it okay if I get you the best accurate possible today, Ben?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Cool. Back into the script.
Next one is, let me explore my options.
So this one's going to be a tough one too, especially if you're the first person to talk to him. So with that, you can use maybe an analogy, or, outside of price, is there anything in specific you're looking for with going with any of these companies? Or let's say we all come back at the same, what's going to be most important to you?
Yeah.
And you can maybe cast doubt, but in that certain situation, first I'm going to try to isolate, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, when was the last time you bought a car? And they say, whatever, 5 years. When you went to the car dealership, you probably had a price in mind that you wanted to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
You had an idea of the car. You knew what you wanted to pay for it, or what you wanted your monthly payments to be. You had the idea that your monthly payments were going to be $200, and the dealer says, they come back and they say, hey, your payments are going to be $250. So you say, well, I got to go look at other options. Yeah. But if he would have came back, it was the perfect car, you had to buy one because the other one was broke down, and he would have said 200, you wouldn't have had to go look for another car because the deal was right.
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for a long time, Ben. Is there something wrong with the deal that's having you go look at other options right now? Is there something missing to make this deal right?
The price.
Right. So now we're going to go through the price. This one can be a little bit tough, and it depends on where it comes in at. If it comes in at the beginning saying like he's being fully transparent that he's going to shop offers.
Yeah.
We're going to go through the script and then hold back on ours. We're going to maybe give him an idea where other people come in at, hold back on ours so we don't show our cards. If it comes in at the end, you know, we're just going to have to do our best to scorch the field on other wholesalers. Like, hey, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. They're working out of the parents' basement.
Yeah.
They don't have systems in place. The last thing I want to see is you get locked up with another wholesaler and put them under contract. But this is a big deal for them, right? There's a lot of people, I mean, this is the biggest transaction they're going to do. So they might just fully need to look at a few other options. And in that case, we're just going to have to let them and hold our cards back the best we can.
I love that. The final one we have is can I pray on it?
So with that one, if they get religious, the go-to story I have for that is, hey, growing up from a small town, Christian parents, I can completely accept that. I go, have you ever heard the story about Peter walking out on water?
Yeah.
And so I'll tell them, so Peter, he falls into the water, right? Everything's going crazy. There's a big storm coming, and a boat comes up to him, and he says, oh, don't worry, God will save me.
Yeah.
And so he passes on the first boat.
Yep.
Next one comes up, they say same thing, right? He's drowning, hey, come into the boat, whatever. He says, oh, don't worry, God will save me. Happens one more time, and then finally he says, God, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you 3 boats, dummy. Yeah. And so I'm just like, hey, and I feel like it's always a sweet old lady, like, hey, Miss Tammy, I would really hate for me to be your boat and you didn't hop in.
Yeah. Yep. So Brett, thank you so much for all the value as to how to overcome objections. If you guys got value out of it, please don't forget to like, comments, as well as subscribe. If you want to watch the full recording of Brett breaking down his entire sales process and even doing a live call review, click right here. If you want to see Brett's entire backstory from being in power lines to wholesaling 6 figures a month in real estate assignment fees, check out the link right here. So Brett, where can people find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, go ahead and find me at Brett_Erickson. I look forward to you guys hitting me up in the DMs, and I'm happy to help any way I can.